What's up everyone, and welcome back to the channel that takes you through the fog, where we cover all of the big breaking news and announcements leading up to this year's Halloween Horror Nights event. Our trusted sources over at HNNightmares has recently released version 3 of this year's speculation map. So in today's video, we're going to be briefly breaking down some of those changes that we've seen from version 2 to version 3, as well as some things that we need to make mention of. More of that coming up next. So it's been a little over 2 months since we received the last version to this year's speculation map, and as you guys can see, there are quite a couple of changes from the houses to the scare zones and even the shows for this year's event. Now, I'm going to break down a couple of those changes that we've seen from those versions, but it would be a crime if I didn't start off with the one everyone's talking about, and that is Stranger Things is back on the map. Now, Stranger Things has been speculated for quite some time, and here we are, we finally got it on a speculation map, and it does seem with some of the information that we've been getting from here and there that it could be coming to this year's event. I'm a big fan of Stranger Things, so seeing it on the spec map did get me excited. I do think it's going to fit well for the event, and it could be a great house. Season 4 was very well done, and I know a lot of fans are dying to actually see it come to the event. But moving forward with the houses that I would like to mention, we're going to be going over to the Sprung tents, where we have this symbol, which is quite unique with a giant C marked in the center. Now, I don't really know what this could potentially be. I know this was kind of speculated to be some type of carnival-like thing. We thought it could be related to Oddfellow, which I do think that this is what this is going to be around, this carnival with Oddfellow being the main character and a backstory that we're going to be getting, and possibly seeing something along the lines of Jack being presented in the house. This is what was speculated with the last spec map, and now seeing this could be some actual logo for this year's house at this location. Now, the last house that I really want to mention here in this change to the spec map is the one up here by the front of the park with the 3 claw marks over the trees. This one, I really have no idea what this could be. The first thing that pops in my mind is like werewolf, possibly in the woods. You got these 3 slash marks going through. So this one really had me stumped as to what it possibly could be. I do like the idea of having something like that in, in the woods setting, something with like an animal like a werewolf kind of going like on the loose or something. So I really don't know what this could be. This is the one that's got me more questioning compared to the rest of them, but nonetheless, I'm excited to see something different pop up to the spec map. And one thing to mention, everything that's with the spec map is speculation, so nothing is official unless it is stated by Horror Nights, and the only 2 things that are, which are Chucky, and one thing I'm really excited to see on the map is The Last of Us. Those are the only official things we have for this year's event so far. So overall, I'm pretty happy with what we have listed for the houses, but I want to mention a couple of other things that we have on here, and that is really related to the scare zones. As you guys can see, the ones in orange are where the scare zone locations are going to be, and we're missing one of them. There's only 4 that's on this list. We used to have the one that's in the front entrance plaza by the Stars area, where now it's kind of like the Minion Land. And what I'm afraid of is, because of the construction of Minion Land, we may not be getting a scare zone here after all, which is a huge letdown. It's a huge bummer and something I'm a little disappointed in not seeing. Of course, this is speculation, of course, but when you walked into Horror Nights, you finally get through the arches and inside the gates, you used to have that scare zone right in the front. Now, I know they have the roaming horde there, and I'm going to get to that in a second, but without it having an official scare zone right where the Minion Land area is now, that whole street is just kind of empty now. There's no vibe to it in that front like we used to have in prior years. So with the scare zones, I'm a little disappointed in seeing that. Now with the majority of them, the other ones I'm a little interested. We got Jungle, we got Vamp 69, which we're huge fans of the Vamp streets that we've had in the past. And then the other 2, I can't really say much. There's one that's got like some hieroglyphics to it. Don't know what it is. Maybe it has something to do with the crazy symbols we've been getting for some of the videos for this year's event. And then the one in San Francisco, I honestly have no idea what to say about it. It just looks to be cut off from a picture. So those are the scare zones that we have there featured. And then we also, like I said earlier, have roaming hordes, 2 of them. One being the Megan Horde and the other one being the Carnival of Oddities. Now the Carnival of Oddities, you got the odd section that is capitalized. So I think this is something to deal with Oddfellow and going along with his background and story, which may be related to the house that we're getting for him as well this year. So that one I'm excited, cool. It's up there in the front. I think having a roaming horde up there is a good entrance to get people into the event. However though, the Megan Horde in Springfield, Not too sure how I feel about a Megan Horde. Not really the biggest fan of the property Megan, but if it was to be at the event, I think this would be the way to go so we don't have too much. But are we gonna have a bunch of Megans running around with like chainsaws or something like that? So that's something a little interesting there. I'm not too sure how that's gonna work, but it's nice to see that we're getting multiple roaming hordes for the event. And two more things that I wanna briefly mention on the map here. We have the Death Eaters located in Diagon Alley. Now, we've had Death Eaters before at Universal, but they've only been in Islands of Adventure over in the Hogsmeade area. This will be the first time we get to see them in Diagon Alley during Horror Nights. I wouldn't be against this idea. This would give it some life over there. I know this is usually a break from all the scares, but the Death Eaters aren't necessarily scary and tied in with Horror Nights. It's just to get the whole Harry Potter Wizarding World area into like the Halloween feel, right? So I think this would be a good addition there over in Diagon Alley. And the last thing that I want to mention here on the spec map is the Vamp show. Now, this is in a location where usually we had recently in past years, the Lagoon show. Are we gonna get a Lagoon show again and it's based on vampires? I mean, I'm not against it. If you guys know anything about our channel, we love the vampires here at HHN, but some people have been talking to me about it being another pop-up stage. I don't know if we're gonna be getting a pop-up stage in this area with how busy the event's been going, and we have that like that actual crepe stand there that is just, it's a permanent location. It's not moving anytime soon. So I'm not too sure if we'll get actually a pop-up location there, but I do hope we actually get Lagoon Show and it's based on vampires. That would be pretty sweet. So there you guys go, version 3 of HNNightmares speculation map for this year's event with its noticeable changes since the last version. Now, we will be hosting a live stream on Friday where we're gonna break down all of this in much more depth with some interesting things we didn't mention in today's video that we're gonna save for that live stream with all of you guys then. So make sure to mark it down in your calendars because we do have a lot to discuss in that live stream. But with that being said, that's gonna do it for us in this quick breaking news update that we have for HHN this year. And until that next video, we can't wait to see you guys there. And like always, we'll catch you guys in the fog. Peace out, everybody. Oh,